So today on Men's Know-How, we're going to be doing an oil change on two different vehicles. One's going to be a 2013 WRX, the other one's going to be a 2009 Jeep Wrangler. Now for the Jeep, we're going to go with conventional motor oil, and then for the Subaru, we're going to be going with synthetic. Before you go and buy your motor oil, make sure you check the owner's manual to see which viscosity your engine uses, because in the case of the Jeep it uses 5W20 and the Subaru uses 5W30. Different oils, so you got to make sure you get the right one. Second, you're going to have to check to see what kind of oil filter it uses. When you go pick it up, make sure you open the box and check that the correct filter is inside, because when I went to pick up this oil filter, I went, bought it, came home, opened the box, and the wrong filter was in the box. So make sure you double check it, learn from my mistake. Alright, so for today's job we're going to need a 1/2-inch drive socket set, some disposable gloves, a funnel, a container to drain the oil into, a crawler, and instead of a jack and jack stands, I'm going to be using ramps. Alright, so now you're going to want to take the ramps and slide them under the tires, and make sure they're straight, and butt it up right. Usually when you do this, you're going to want to have like someone watching to make sure you don't roll over the end of the ramp, but I've done this enough times where I'm confident I won't do that. But if you're doing it for the first time, especially if you're driving stick, make sure you have someone to help you so you don't by accident roll off the ramp and damage the car. Alright, so now you're going to take your crawler and your container and go into the car to take off the drain plug. You want to make sure that if you've been running the car recently that you don't get the oil on you, because it's going to be very hot. My car's been off for a while, so it shouldn't be too warm, but always be careful. Alright, so next we're going to remove the oil filter, which is right here. Now in this car, it's surrounded by the headers, so make sure if you have a Subaru, you let it cool down, because you're going to have a really hard time getting in there, because you're going to be burning your wrist trying to get a good grip on it to remove it, and because of where it is, it's almost impossible to get a filter removal tool on there. So yeah, wait till the car cools off before you do this. You're going to want to get a dab of oil and just run it around on the seal, just so when you tighten it on, it goes on nice and smooth and doesn't stick. Spin it on. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people do when they're installing oil filters is they over tighten it. All you gotta do is snug it up, get on there and give it like a good half turn so it's nice and hand tight. But you do not need to over tighten this, because then when you go to take it off, it's going to be very, very hard to get it off. Alright, so now it's time to add the oil. Go ahead and go pop your hood. Go in and remove the oil cap. clean your funnel. And slowly pour the oil. So right here, each line indicates 1 quart. Since we only want to put 4.5, we're going to want to leave the fill to about right there. As you can see, it got dark while we're working here, but we're done. So all you gotta do now is close the hood, back the car off the ramps, and you're good to go. Alright, so next we're going to do the oil change in the Jeep. You're not going to need ramps or jack stand or anything. You can just grab your crawler, just go right under there, because there's more than enough room. Now for this car, it's actually going to be come in from the side. This car, unlike the other car, has just been driven, so all of the oil is very, very hot. So make sure you have gloves and some thick gloves so if it gets on you, it doesn't burn you. Alright, so now you're going to want to slide your container over to the front where the filter is, because when you take it off it's also going to spill down and you don't want it to fall on the floor. Alright, so this car isn't like the Subaru where the oil filter's on the bottom. This one's actually going to be on the front of the engine, so it's a little bit easier access than the Subaru, but you still got to be careful because the engine's hot, so you don't want to burn yourself while you're trying to loosen the oil filter. There we go. And it's in. Alright, so the oil cap is going to be right in there. Alright, so just remove the oil cap to the side. Alright, so that's how you change your oil. It's really not that hard. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot of different projects on this channel, not just having to do with cars. So subscribe, and I'll see you next time.